A while back I made a video where I talked about my created mods, and among them I mentioned one specific mod, which I only peripherally introduced as a great mod with a new underwater location and the ability to control a submarine. Today I would like to tell you more about this mod. Oh, and towards the end of the video I'll be announcing a little mod that will enhance the whole Mojave Desert atmosphere. So sit back, relax, and we shall begin. The idea for this mod came from a modification for New Vegas Honest Hearts Reborn. A lot of people complained about it, both from a technical point of view and because of the writing, and I honestly think that the technical issues are understandable since only one person worked on the mod, but the story could have been handled better. I do still think the writing is good and it just didn't fit with the game's characters. The negative feedback on this modification, and this is probably a bad thing to say, has kind of motivated me a bit in some weird way to create something similar by myself. Eventually I fell into sort of a spiral about writing stories and designing worlds, and came across Tim Cain's YouTube channel. His videos on creating the first Fallout and writing stories and characters are incredibly inspiring and helpful for new developers and writers alike, especially his video on writing villains for your world. I highly recommend watching some of his content. Before I start explaining the story elements of my mod, I want to say that I'm not going to spoil everything because who knows, maybe one day I will finish it, but just maybe. Since I decided to work on this mod myself, I naturally had to pick a good theme that could be handled well as a solo modder. I came up with the idea of using the travel system from classic Fallout and using a more limited map. Then I combined it with my favorite theme in media, namely the unexplored depths of our Earth. I was looking for some stuff regarding the underwater world in the Fallout universe and came across a lot of useful tidbits to get a better idea of the depths. Quite possibly, the waters are the most dangerous place to be in. So I started visualizing what kind of people might live in such depths, what they would eat, what kind of work they might do for a living. The next obvious question was how did people get to such a place? And the answer was easy to think of. It was an underwater world. This world was divided into 3 sections: biology, technology and military research. This was one of the few worlds that was operational before the disaster, and it was ready for it, almost. Once the bombs started dropping around the coast, earthquakes also began to occur, gradually damaging the world until some of the walls broke and began to flood with water. The holes began to split off from the others, and all of the sections were isolated. Important vault personnel were already prepared for this and used their cryopods to freeze themselves, and the rest of them managed to escape by using evacuation submarines and started building new settlements. But that was almost 2 centuries ago. Later on, a few of the cryopods began to open, releasing the overseers back to their people to lead them. But all of this is part of something much bigger and more sinister than any of the overseers could ever imagine. The main problem with this mod was that to save myself the extra work with locations, most of them were supposed to be interiors, which wouldn't be such a problem, but if I want to continue this project, I will have to make the locations more vertical, with more floors to keep the player's attention at all. There wouldn't be too many new enemy types, either mostly lake lurks, ghouls and imported mirelurks from Fallout 3. I honestly don't know how it would work if I tried to import some stuff from Oblivion that might fit into New Vegas, like slaughterfish or gramites from the DLC, but I'm not sure how legal it is, even though it's still under Bethesda. So I would probably just ignore that and wouldn't do it at all. Some locations would be flooded with water and therefore the player would have to carry a rebreather or buy a new diving helmet. It has the same effect, only it has more armor and looks pretty cool. Exploring the new lore itself and having fun with the new story would be the biggest part in this mod, which, as I decided and wrote, had 2 basic endings and then a third one with a slightly better resolution than the classic good ending. You could probably say a true ending. I then decided to divide the map into 3 levels of pressure, so you can't just speedrun it and finish it in 15 minutes. And to traverse between the pressure levels you need upgrades. Upgrades themselves have to be bought from various mechanics, but it doesn't come cheap unless you do some quests for them. Now of course they can't just sell it to you, because they will need some permission from the local overseer. I also for 100% know that I wanted to have at least one companion in the mod, which would be the mechanic Zoe, who would guide you through the game and be able to install purchased upgrades for free compared to other mechanics. But I haven't given that much thought to it yet, and I don't even know if there would be another companion. And also, let me know if you'd like to know more about the Abyss. Thanks for watching, and see ya!